Hello, Tad Auger from Marketing for Hippies. Today's video is about where are you trying to fit in? I was talking with somebody in my mentorship program just this morning and realized that one of the things that happens for people when they start a business is they develop opinions about their type of business. And whether that's a product or a service, they start to get opinions about how it should be made or how it should be done. And the trouble with having opinions is people will disagree with you. And so if you have opinions, let's say you do yoga, and you start to think, I disagree with a lot of the way that yoga is taught. Well, now you're in a conundrum, because if you say those things, some of your colleagues might get offended. But if you don't say those things, the people who would be a perfect fit for you will never find you. So this would be my main message. And of course, this is an immensely personal decision to make. But, if you want to belong in a community, then yeah, you fit in. But if you want to thrive in the marketplace, you have to stand out. If you want to be a part of that scene, well, then there's a certain level where you've got to toe the party line. Let's say with yoga, how yoga should be done, how it shouldn't be done. You should probably keep it within the parameters of what's normal. In politics, they talk about the Overton window. You can check out of what things can you say or talk about, what fits in the politically acceptable discourse and what's outside of it, left or right of that. Yeah, you're going to want to stay in that. But if you're wanting to build a business, you've got to be willing to step outside of that. Why? Because otherwise so many people are doing the generic things. So many people are saying the same thing, coming at it the same way. And if you want to find your ideal clients, you've got to go that way. I remember seeing a meme. It talked about the game Tetris. It said the point of the game Tetris is when you fit in, you disappear. And that's very true. So whose approval do you want most? Is it the approval of your colleagues? Because if that's what matters most to you, and I'm not judging, honestly. It may be fine. But I'll just say the consequence of that is you will probably seem very generic because your work very similar to your colleagues, because you don't want to rock the boat too much. You don't want to state your opinions about the industry, because you may have friends and colleagues, let's say other yoga teachers, who are doing the thing you're criticizing, and it would not take that well. But if you want to find your ideal clients, if you want to find them, you've got to, this woman in my mentorship program said, you've got to let out a howl, this like wolf howl that the other wolves would hear. That's how they know to find you. But if you stay quiet all the time, they don't know that you're there. You have to go kind of hunting around and sniffing around for them, but much easier to let out the cry and let them hear and then come to you, yeah? And here's some thoughts for comfort if you're going to go about disagreeing with your whole industry. First of all, there will be pushback and people will disagree. But most of your colleagues don't give a shit. Most of your colleagues aren't reading your blog. They don't follow your work. They're not reading your email newsletter. Most of this is just going to be received by your people, not your colleagues. They're not going out and saying, well, what's the competition doing today? What are the other yoga teachers writing about on Facebook? Not usually, honestly. So the chances of it even landing anywhere are lower than you would think. Not impossible, but it's lower than you'd think. And there's a chance that could open up some really interesting conversations with your colleagues. And third, you don't have to demonize anyone. You can disagree without being disagreeable. You can say, look, this is just my take on it. Other people have a different take, but I feel pretty strongly about this, for these reasons. So you don't have to write it in an inflammatory and dehumanizing way about the other people. Anyways, yeah, so there's the thought. Whose approval are you secretly wanting more of or most? Because if it's your colleagues, I would predict your business will struggle. But if you're wanting to get the approval of or recognition from or attention of your ideal client, very different something. And I should take that all back. Getting the approval of your ideal clients is not ideal. But if you're wanting to reach them, if you're wanting them to know who you are and what you're up to, if you're wanting them to see that you could be a good fit for them, well, then you've got to speak to them. So maybe that's a better way to say it. Who are you speaking to? Are you trying to speak to your colleagues to reassure them that everything's okay and you're not rocking the boat and you're really one of them? Or are you wanting to speak to your ideal clients? Because if you speak to them and about their situation and their symptoms and your point of view on how they can handle that, hey, that marketing is much more likely to work. So that's my thought. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, put them below in a comment. Might turn into the next video. And if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the little bell icon, which will notify you when I post new videos. And if you're watching this on Facebook, you can like my page, share it up, tell all your friends. Why not? Thank you so much.